The Minecraft account community is larger than ever, and it's constantly growing to new heights. One of the most common questions, though, asked by both new and old veterans of the community is this: what is the rarest Minecraft account? Does that illustrious title belong to an OG username? Perhaps a special cape account? Or how about a dupe or an illegal account? With hundreds of thousands of these rare accounts floating around, it's hard to settle on just one. So how about two? In this episode of Minecraft Uncovered, we explore the intricate history of two of the rarest, most exclusive Minecraft accounts of all time, the special few that own them, and just how much they're actually worth. So we should probably figure out what actually makes a Minecraft account expensive in the first place. A normal Minecraft account can be bought for $26.95 off Minecraft.net, but special accounts can go for much more. The main factors for having a valuable account are the name, cosmetics, ranks, and stats, but the name and cosmetics tend to make the most difference out of those four. People sell these accounts for thousands of dollars just for having short or catchy usernames, or a rare cape. There are other factors too, like the name history or the security of the account, but they aren't nearly as important. Though these accounts we're about to discuss haven't ever been sold and most likely never will be, they've been talked about at great length, especially the first one, Mark. Mark is a pretty infamous account in the community, and it's for good reason. This account is owned by a member of the Mojang staff team who's very well known in this community, and we'll talk more about that later. But even when we're just talking about the account itself, Mark really does have everything going for it. It has the username Mark, which is a very clean OG name, of course. It has every single Minecon cape, so that's the 2011 Creeper, 2012 Pickaxe, 2013 Piston, 2015 Golem, and 2016 Enderman designs. And on top of those, it also has 5 separate special capes. The Mojang cape, which he's currently using according to the API. The classic Mojang cape, since he's been a Mojang staffer since way before they changed the cape designs back in late 2015. The Scrolls cape for getting on the leaderboards for Mojang's Scrolls card game 5 times, the Realms Map Maker cape since he used to manage Minecraft Realms maps, and the Cobalt cape for winning one of Mojang's Cobalt League tournaments. That makes it a total of 10 capes on one account, the most on any Minecraft account by far. It even has some of those minor features I was talking about earlier, like a clean name history, very good security, and special ranks like the Mojang rank on Hypixel. We also mentioned that he was a well-known Mojang staff member. He's not just any designer or developer that works behind the scenes. Mark has been pretty vocal in the public eye, on online forums, Twitter, and more. As mentioned, Mark also used to be a Minecraft Realms manager, so he would review submitted maps, hand out Realms capes to scout builders, and remove them if he ever learned they were sold. People also like to blame Mark whenever Mojang does a lock wave, where they disable tons of sold accounts at once, but from what I can tell and what Mark has said, he has nothing to do with that. Regardless, all of this means that the account is really popular, much more than any other Mojang staff member outside of Notch. The account is extremely valuable, and we'll talk about just how much it's worth later on. But first, we have to talk about this other account. Instead of a ton of capes, a special name, and being owned by a Mojang staff member, this account has just one main feature, and it's owned by a normal player like you and me. Well, almost normal. Of course, I'm talking about deadmau5 and his infamous exclusive mouse ears. Yes, this is the only account with special ears to ever be created, and most likely the only one that ever will be created. For those that don't know, deadmau5 is a famous electronic music producer from Canada. He even made some music for Minecraft, and even though it was never added in, it was released publicly, and I'm playing it in the background of the video right now. He didn't get the ears for his music contribution though. Way back in 2010, deadmau5 was a really big fan of Minecraft. He even had his own server, Mouseville, that was pretty popular at the time. Since he's such a big producer, a lot of his fans started playing Minecraft, and he brought so many new players to the game that he became friends with Notch, who gave him his very own pair of mouse ears. Surprisingly, these ears are actually hard-coded into the game for his username instead of applied through his skin. So when you look at deadmau5 through NameMC or MC skin history, it looks completely normal. And if he ever changed his name, he'd lose the ears, and whoever sniped the name would suddenly have an extremely valuable account. There are a ton of old videos that show these ears, and someone recently hacked the account and saw them, so we know it's not just a rumor. And don't worry, deadmau5 does have his account back now, so no harm done, I think. To this day, deadmau5 still has his special ears, and anyone that spoofs the name can get them too. So, now that we know all about these accounts, how much are they actually worth? Well, that's a hard question, but let's start with Mark, because Mark is actually kind of possible to appraise. Nearly everything that's on Mark's account has been sold before, so we do have something to base it off of. So let's start with the name. Mark with a K was appraised for about $800, and names that are about as OG as Mark with a C went for $300 to $500, so let's just average that out and say the name is $400. Now, onto the Minecon capes. With the name history and security of this account, a 2011 and 2012 cape would be about $400 each, 2016 and 2013 would be about $300, and 2015 would be about $250. So that's a total of $1,650 for the capes and $400 for the name, so just over $2,000 total. And then we move on to the special capes, and this is where it gets kind of insane. The Cobalt cape he has sells for $1,500. The Realms cape is $1,000, Scrolls have been estimated at about $2,000, but these haven't been sold, at least that I know of. Mojang capes go for $1,500, and Classic Mojangs are about $2,000. So combine all those, and the special capes have a combined worth of $8,000. And combined with the name and Minecon capes, that makes it about $10,000, just based on the individual value of each of these special features. You also have to take into account the Mojang rank on Hypixel, which is worth probably around $500, the OG info of the account, which is probably around $1,000, and how well known the account is, so maybe another few hundred. So, our grand total for the value of Mark is about $12,000 US. That is absolutely insane. And that is just a minimum value, because since there's no other accounts like this, the value could be a lot bigger. I've heard numbers like $20,000 in the past, which in my opinion is somewhat fair. Regardless, it's an extremely valuable and extremely rare account. There's none other like it. There are some competitors that we'll talk about after this, but first, what about Deadmau5? Well, Deadmau5 really is kind of impossible to appraise accurately. We don't have anything to base it off of. Considering that some of the rarest capes go for about $2,000, and the capes that are exclusive to just one person would be worth maybe $5,000, and we'll talk about those in a bit as well, but those are just capes. Even if they aren't all the same design, there are at least 27,000 official capes in circulation, but there's only one. Just one pair of mouse ears. So really, Deadmau5 could be worth any amount of money. You could very easily put it up there with Mark in the $20,000 range, but unless Deadmau5 decides to go against Mojang and sell his account, we really never can put a price tag on it. As far as Minecraft accounts go, Deadmau5 is priceless. But Deadmau5 and Mark are far from the only rare accounts. There are a lot of accounts that break the $1,000 mark, and even a few that could be $5,000 to $10,000. So let's go through a few of the runner-ups that didn't quite make it but are still very much worth mentioning. First off, we have the obligatory mention of the one character accounts, at least the ones that are still around, 8 and G. 8 sold for $8,000, and G is supposedly worth about $10,000. A billion other YouTubers have talked about these accounts, so I'm not going to waste your time on them. Next up, we have the exclusive capes of Cheapshot, Danny B Style, Julian Clark, Akronman1, Mr. Messiah, Drillcuss, and Billy K. Most of these could easily go for $5,000 to $10,000, with maybe Danny B and Cheapshot's being worth slightly less. Cheapshot because his looks very similar to the translator capes, and Danny B's because, well, it's just like really ugly. I mean, holy crap, who designed this atrocity, this attack on my sense of sight? My eyes are bleeding, I'm calling the police. Lastly, we have a few other accounts that are sorta like Mark, namely Fox and Red. Both of these are extremely clean 3-letter OG names that are easily worth much more than Mark's. Just the names themselves have been appraised and sold for thousands of dollars. Fox has all the Minecon capes and a Cobalt cape, while Red just has all the Minecon capes. They're worth about $6.5 and $5.5 thousand US respectively, and these ones are actually in the community unlike a lot of other valuable accounts. Still though, they're all incredibly rare, and some of the most valuable accounts not just in Minecraft, but in video game history. So, that about wraps it up for the video, guys. I originally planned to do a sequel to the last video this week, and then I started working on the script, but then I decided not to for a couple of reasons, and then some stuff started happening with an account that I was researching for that video, so there's a lot of stuff going on right now, and there may or may not be a sequel to that video next week. We'll just have to wait and see what happens, because I honestly haven't even figured out what I'm gonna do. I also just got back from a vacation, and I'm making this video in like 3 days, but I'm spending all of my time on it, so hopefully it won't feel rushed. But that's it. Hope you enjoyed. Like and subscribe if you want. I'm out. Have a good one.